Welcome, welcome. This is the Screen Time Continuum. My name is Keelan, and I am here with the fellas. Nick, what's going on, brother?
Hey, happy Thursday. How are you?
Happy Thursday. Yes, indeed. I'm doing well. Can't complain. Did I say Wednesday?
No, but we usually shoot on Wednesday. I had to think about it and then I
Ah,
said happy Thursday. Yeah.
all right. Had to make sure I wasn't on autopilot and just
No,
spread
you're
the
good.
words out early.
Don't worry.
Yes, indeed. And we're also here with Mike. What's going on, brother?
Man, what it dookies?
It
It
stinks.
does skis.
It does, skis.
hmm
It does. But yes, indeed, it is a wonderful Thursday. We are here to review the movie You People, and I hope that you people who are tuning in are, if you have seen this movie, you're prepared for a review. If you haven't seen this movie, you're going to sit through this review, and you probably don't need to watch the movie if you haven't seen it to watch a review on this movie and still go back and watch it. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah,
hey, who am I? This movie is again entitled You People. It came out in 2023. It is directed by Kenya Barris. Kenya Barris, what is the director and creator of Blackish, Grownish, Black AF, and what was that? Intergalactic, which is
Grown
an
AF.
animation. Huh?
Oh, not grown AF. He needs to
Oh, I
round that
think that
out.
one's in there, isn't it?
No, you said grownish, blackish, black AF. He needs to
Oh
have
yeah, there's
grown
even
AF.
Grownish and Mixed-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ish.
there's a lot of ish. But
race
he
baiting
has Black
everywhere, huh?
AF. Yeah, yeah. Well, I also want to say, and then Intergalactic, which is an animation that I believe is on Netflix, but I know I've seen it. The reason I go through this about Kenya and the titles, at least, of his films and shows, I remember reading an article when this movie was in production about that exact question, Mike. Is does he have some kind of a fixation or infatuation with mixed race people or just the inception of mixed race relationships? Um
I have a
it was
question.
an interesting read, but I wasn't sure how to where to go with it. But that was a question when this began production. Uh-huh.
Right. I have a question for you. Do you know if he had anything to do with the reboot of the Proud Family?
I do not
Ooh,
know.
that's a good
I
question.
I
It's
think so.
possible.
Have you
I actually
seen that?
believe he did.
Uh,
I
Yeah. 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 I'd sing the song, but I'd get canceled for it. So
we probably
I won't
would.
worry
God damn.
about it.
I have. I don't know what's going on in society right now, but
This definitely
we
didn't make me feel any more
actually I do know
confident,
what
that's
it
for
is.
sure.
I do know what it is. If everything's racist, nothing's racist.
Yes.
And the more everything is, the more we talk about all these racist situations, the more desensitized we are to it. They think it's gonna make it go away.
That is
Or at
incredibly
least give
flawed
people the
logic.
information.
Hey, I don't know. I'm not the smartest man on the panel. All I'm saying is I see what I see, and the shit that's getting on my fucking nerves.
Yeah, you
The
don't get an
new
argument from me, that's for sure.
right. The new Proud Family is actually created by Bruce Smith and directed by Latoya Raveno. Um,
Okay.
so yeah,
I wonder if she's
got
bald.
the red dot, sir. The red dot. It is
I'm not gonna
on.
say nothing further.
So, You People is a movie again directed by Kenya Barris. It is also a screenplay written by Jonah Hill and Kenya Barris. Producers on this: Jonah Hill, Kenya Barris, Kevin Misher, and the original distribution is by Netflix. I think this actually showed in theaters, in various theaters, not every theater, but in some theaters. It stars Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill, Lauren London, Julia Louis Dreyfus, Neil Long, David Duchovny, Sam J, Molly Gordon, Andrew Schultz, Taco, Young Miami, Kenya Barris, Lala Anthony, Mike Epps, and yeah, I'm just gonna stop there. I think what I know Rhea Perlman's in it. A million other people who I promise you will see their face and go, "Hey, I know this person from somewhere." Like Elliot Gold's in this movie, man. Deion Cole's in this movie. So yeah. Um,
Right. I was
I
happy
think
to see Rhea Perlman.
yeah, about every comedian you've seen on YouTube or anywhere else is on this movie, and I think that was kind of cool. That was actually a high point for me.
I
Just
got
seeing.
cheers.
Say it again.
I got those Cheers vibes.
Ah, nice. She didn't give us much, but I like that you still got that somehow. Um, yeah, there's a lot of faces. It looks like a friend flick. You know, I like buddy flicks. I have to admit that. Ever since even realizing what a buddy flick is, you realize that's why you see so many of the same faces in the same movies together. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, we're friends and we're gonna work together and do each other favors. Cool. Either way, the movie You People is about a new couple and their families that reckon with the modern love and culture. Wait, I will read that again because the yeah. A new couple and their families reckon with modern love and culture clashes, societal expectations, and generational differences. Okay, amid culture clashes. I read that incorrectly. Either way, two people get together, their parents are both dickheads, and we navigate through that until we either get to the promised land or they break up. Who knows which one happens? We'll get there. So, first impressions, guys. What do you guys think? Nick, Mike?
I'm gonna let Mike go first because this movie has taught us that us whites are never gonna be cool with you guys. So I'm just gonna sit here and
Did it say
I'm
that
just
though?
gonna sit in the corner. I'm gonna sit in the corner. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Said
that was
that, but
that was the turning point of the conversation. It was the revelation that black people and white people will never be cool. And so now he's okay.
But what happens immediately after that is important, but we'll discuss that later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It kind of
I'm first of all,
undercuts the whole thing.
I'm gonna first point out that we have a full melanated man on one corner. We got a mixed melanated Caucasus Mountain man at the bottom, and we got a full Caucasus Mountain man in the left.
There we go.
So we got all the perspectives.
Are we doing diversity right?
Are we doing it right?
I think so.
Maybe.
We
Hopefully.
have the appropriate ratio to have an honest discussion. We got it.
Right. Now, as far as this movie, it was a roller coaster of action and suspense. It was dynamic dramas all over the place. Like when the Crips was all up in the white dude face, that was excitement. And then when he was playing basketball and, stuff was happening, woo!
And really good at it for no reason.
Yeah.
Clumsily good at it.
Yeah.
Right. So, woo!
Those players exist though.
Feel like it, huh?
No.
No. Come on, Mike.
It was a roller coaster ride of what did I say? What was I lying about?
He said it was great. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. All that stuff.
All that stuff. Yeah. Oof, boy, guys. I think I lost a little bit of faith in humanity after watching this one. There are ways that you could do this that have been done before, that have been done in funny ways before. I don't think that the premise is entirely out of the ordinary. I think it's something we've seen kind of many times before. Yeah. What I don't like about it is everything. And the execution of it to me was so sophomoric that I thought to myself, whose punishment is this? Eddie Murphy didn't want to be there. Jonah Hill didn't want to be there. The woman's name, I'm sorry, her name is Lauren London, didn't feel like she wanted to be there all that much. Nobody seemed enthusiastic about this movie. I don't know.
Nia Long might have wanted to be there.
Maybe, but
she got to distract her from.
It wasn't funny. It was painfully cringe-inducing, like to the point where I many times I had to take a deep breath and be like, please stop movie. Like it was almost like they were trying to punish you with the most cringe-inducing situations possible. And if that were the aim, then bravo, you did it. But that's not something that I want to watch. And the message towards the end falls flat for me. I think they wrapped it up in a nice bow after an hour and 50 minutes of basically laying out the point that we'll never see eye to eye as races. And then the last 10 minutes is, oh, we're just kidding. Psych. You guys are all good. Don't worry about it. Well, that didn't land for me at all. So first impressions right out the gate. Oof, that was a hard one. That was a hard one.
Right. I actually fully agree with the that for the most part, and here's why. You go through the entire movie, and I honestly was surprised that we were at the end. I had lost track of how much time I had been watching the movie. But when we're going through the ups and downs, and I was like, man, I don't know if it took long because it wasn't like it didn't feel like a long movie, right? It didn't feel as long as it actually is. There were points. This is my first impressions, but there are points in this movie where I'm really sitting there and I'm like, oh man, they getting to the point. Like they about to, dang, they went there. I can't wait to see what the resolution to this is. So the problem was an hour long and the resolution was 10 seconds. Got it.
Yeah.
You know what? If we would, instead of Jonah Hill, if we would have had Mel Brooks, I think we would have had a better movie.
Leave us alone.
Jonas Hill's podcasting skills were so good that he healed generations of distrust and trauma.
By
with
just
his-
repeating what the black woman had been saying to him the whole time.
Right, exactly. Yep. What you said to me last time got me really messed up. I really think that black people and white people, we just can't see eye to eye, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And as everybody's listening to him like he's speaking some profound truth or something, like,
Man,
what in the hell is this movie, bro?
Bar.
I mean, like even Mike Epps couldn't get the white Barry White joke out like with enough enthusiasm, because he's even thinking to himself, what the hell is this movie? Good Lord, man. I'm so tired of Jonah Hill being a poser. He is such a poser. He's been posing for the longest time. He's a rich Jewish kid from Los Angeles that pretended to be a skateboarder and made a skateboarding movie and was all about metal and punk rock and all this stuff. Now he's moved on to hip hop, and now he's born and raised in hip hop, and he wants to make a movie about hip hop. Stop it.
You're the third person I know to make that exact statement. I swear.
He's a poser, man. He's just
Like,
a tourist in LA culture.
It's the literal tracking of like, nah, he did this, and then he did this, and they said the exact same thing. And this was me. Yeah, no, that tracks.
Just 4 years ago, he was skateboard culture, rock music, punk rock, and but being a part of Dogtown in Santa Monica, you know what I mean? And now he's like, oh, I was raised by hip hop. I'm a sneakerhead, like what? Come on,
that's
man.
the thing, though.
That's his character, man.
No. He
That
actually
sneakerhead business goes across racial boundaries and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that, but I believe that he's a poser in it. So,
well,
of course he is.
I do want to say something I should have said. I enjoyed the cinematography, great shots, great location choices.
Oh, down the street from my house.
Literally. I mean, they chose a really small neighborhood for the most part, and they got a lot of shots in that neighborhood. Now, some of them are a little outside the neighborhood, but whatever.
I remember when they were filming it. I walked outside my house and watched.
Oh, wow. The music placement was pretty good. Some of it, but most of it was pretty on point. Temperature wise, I don't know about the music. Like if it was at the right time.
It was too loud. It
That's
broke
maybe that's what
in
I'm
way
getting at.
too loud. Yeah, we had to turn our
Yeah.
TV down every time the music hit because it was just blasting.
Yeah, and it felt like you were in a vehicle, like I was in a car.
Kind of, yeah. Or like when a commercial is way too loud while you're watching something. you know?
Yeah.
Like the show is nice and soft, and then the commercial is on, and it's like, try OxyClean.
And that's what I was thinking. Like, was it like thinking it was supposed to be more like blending in with more noise, and it was just like the music was playing. So maybe it wasn't time; it was just volume was bad. But but as far as the selection of songs and stuff, I liked that. Every single song that came out, I was like, oh, oh, and then I think about the scene or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I guess this kind of fits.
The one
So that
positive thing, the one positive thing I would say is I enjoyed the scene between Eddie Murphy and Mike Epps. I thought that was good while they're in the car. I thought that was a good scene. I actually really enjoyed that. I would have actually liked to see more of that because I thought
Right, because
those
he
are two
called him
funny
on his
guys.
bullshit.
Yeah, there were two funny guys having a fun conversation, but also being like heartfelt and honest with each other. And I liked that. But it was like 45 seconds of a 2-hour long movie.
Man,
Right.
I will say Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy's car scene, ouch.
Oh, so rough, dude.
Like Julia and Lauren, they were
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
be cringy. But you could see they were trying. Jonah and Eddie actually looked uncomfortable.
Mm.
And maybe they're
Everybody
just that
felt-
good at acting, but
Yeah.
damn. Like I was
I
really
don't know.
like, oh, this is tense.
It is
And
super
at the
tense.
same time, I thought
And
it
there's
was-
only so much of that you can do. It was like this movie was written by Michael Scott, but not in the good way. Where from The Office,
The Office, yeah.
because the whole premise of The Office is Michael Scott is so cringe-inducing that it's actually embarrassing. But he's also he has redeeming qualities, and I don't know what the redeeming qualities of this movie are, except for the resolution at the end, which felt like, well, we got to wrap this up because it's the end of the movie. Even though we just dropped a really hard philosophical concept like 5 minutes prior.
I don't know if anything was terrible enough to even need redemption in this movie.
Maybe not.
Like,
maybe not.
Discussion, maybe, but redemption? There was no heartbreak. There was no violation. There was no break of trust. You know what I mean?
Well, the whole movie's a
Yeah.
violation, but
Okay, granted, the whole movie is a violation, but there was no like breach of trust. And this is a relationship movie, right? This is a movie about building on a relationship. We didn't even get a lot of the relationship.
well, I mean,
No,
the part
because-
where she was upset at him and mad because he offered to get her some help by pulling some strings for
I love
people.
that.
I thought that was actually a good. I thought the purpose of that scene was good. I don't know if it was executed as well as it could have been.
I think it was
because
kind
I
of
mean,
silly.
if my spouse is able to give me some help by having some ties that I don't have connections to, I'm gonna be angry too and say I'm an independent woman and I don't need nobody helping me.
That's why this is why I thought it was a good scene. As much as it sounds, we're guys, right? So as much as it sounds nonsensical, there are people who really feel that way.
And they're
but her whole premise is I've lived my whole life without allowing people I love to help me, so I'm not going to allow you to help me.
That's the part that I mean. That
you guys are really getting married.
Yep.
What the hell is a spouse supposed to do?
She got to grow up and learn.
Eddie Murphy was right.
Idiot.
Just gonna say, Eddie Murphy was right.
Well, that she wasn't ready.
No, that he wasn't the right guy for her.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He just wasn't, because
I don't
they
know
didn't.
About that.
Nah. They didn't have any connection. They had no chemistry, man.
Again, we didn't see much of the relationship. I think. Can I be?
They had the CGI their kiss. You know that, right? They didn't kiss.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I know that.
Right.
They did?
No, they didn't kiss. They had to CGI it.
Why?
They don't like each other.
Because we ain't kissing on folks.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did they CGI her toes too?
Their love was more intimate than a kiss. They didn't need to kiss. It was apparent. You could see it.
That's right. They shook hands firmly at the end.
Are you sure they didn't CGI a handshake?
Patted each other on the back and said, "Good job, buddy. Let's go."
Man.
All right, look. All right, so let's start at the top and get through the quick parts. I mean, for the most part, we're jumping through it already, but just for storyline purposes.
Right.
We open on a discussion between Easy and Mo in their podcast, and they're talking about Barack Obama. I actually thought this was an interesting discussion. Sam J plays Mo. I don't even know if I said Sam J in the credits, but anyway. Sam J plays Mo, and she's a comedian, so I already expected, like, okay, at least that part is going to be funny. Because I was thinking, like, wait, Jonah Hill's a podcast host?
Their
Okay,
podcast sounded scripted, man.
it was scripted, but my point is, with one of the people being a comedian, it's like, okay, they're at least gonna have some level of funny to
Yeah,
it.
somebody
'Cause
is going to
hopefully
be
she
try
wrote
to
it.
be funny. Yeah.
That's what I was really just like. Okay, I hope at least she wrote the dialogue for this, or was in
Mhm.
on it. Excuse me. But they have this discussion about Barack Obama or Barack Hussein, which it's a funny ass name, and it's a code nickname or a code middle name. But who is your Barack? How does your Barack act? How is like every black person or every person have their own version of the president in their head? And I thought that was actually a pretty funny discussion. Laughing at the fact that he smokes Newports. That I remember that was a big thing from like, hey yo, President smoked Newports, and it was like, word, that's what you care about. That he's
Mm.
all right, cool, 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 cool. But then she started getting funny with it, talking about, maybe your Barack Obama or maybe your president does coke or he does other things, and I was like, all right, so he's just making fictitious versions. And then you realize when you reflect, like, let's look back at most of the presidents we've had in our lifetime. Like, that's what every person does. They see the leader of the country in their own light, right? So that I thought was a very interesting place to start. Now, this movie did not exactly tread that line as much as I thought it would, but it gave you the premise that they were going to head that way. This is it starts with a podcast hosted by uh I guess lesbian woman, but we never exactly have any inclination to what her sexual preference is, and a Jewish man. And the topic is the culture or really race relations. If we're being honest, the topic of that podcast is race relations, which I thought was a poor fucking topic for a podcast that you're gonna like. How long is that gonna last?
Yeah. How many times can you talk about that without it being boring?
Because there's a lot
Long
of
enough
different
to
things
make a
you can
2 hour
interject.
terrible movie.
A 2-hour movie. Yeah.
But what we're saying is there's a lot of things you can interject race into, but that shouldn't be the basis of the discussion. Like if they had said the culture as far as music and all of that, if we ever heard them talking about albums or shoes or something, all right, cool.
Anybody who calls it the culture isn't a part of the culture.
That
How
that
about
was
that?
Akbar's point. That
I
was definitely
agree.
his point.
Eddie Murphy was right.
Well, that's why he kept like, oh, you're just gonna take black off of it. That's why he kept fucking with him about that because it was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you gonna call it the culture, then you're not really trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And we don't need to hear what Jonah Hill has to say about hip hop and sneakers. I'm sorry. I
Well, no,
just
that's
don't.
what Kenya Barris has to say about hip hop and sneakers. Jonah Hill was just saying it out loud. See,
Right.
Jonah Hill wrote the white Jewish side, even though Kenya Barris is also mixed race and I believe raised Jewish, but I could be wrong about that part. I don't know that for sure. But I know not the mixed race part. That part I know. I'm talking about the. That's funny to me.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about the religion part. I don't know for sure, but Jonah Hill we do know because he talks about it. So yeah, we know who wrote which parts because you can't offend anybody, and that's why they both had to get screenplay credit and everything as well. I'm surprised Jonah Hill didn't get directing credit, if I'm being honest. But respectfully, I didn't realize how much I hate people saying respectfully.
Yeah. Because after respectfully, something disrespectful is about to come up.
It's like I can't remember who said that, but it was like Bill Burr when he's talking about when he's on a plane and this guy's like, "Hey, let me tell you something." It's like, oh fuck, it's coming.
Yeah.
They're gonna say something like, "Why are you looking around like that? Who are you looking for?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. They're at Ezra's at the Yom Kippur ceremony, or I guess I'm not sure how to say that, but it's Yom Kippur.
Seder.
And they're at mass,
synagogue, or whatever.
yeah.
Temple. I think they call it temple.
This was honestly, I almost said that wrong incorrectly. This was probably the most questionable scene in the movie for me. Why did every man he walked past, even certain women, well, no, I think it was just men that he walked by. Why was everybody asking him about his sex life and his penis?
because they weird. Like as a general thing, I don't mean the people in the movie. I mean the writers and the directors. They weird because that's weird as hell.
I was so confused, and then the whole situation with the mom after she was like, "Oh, the podiatrist, like, oh yeah, he has some cases against him right now, but you know he hasn't been convicted." And at first I was like, cases about, oh, what the hell are we watching right
Right.
now? And I was
Let me take
honestly
you back in the cleaner. Like
confused.
what?
It's all Jonah Hill's inside joke, man. That's why we don't understand it. It's just all of his little world.
Yes.
It's the same way Velma is Mindy Kaling's, you know, like vanity project. This is a Jonah Hill vanity project. I know Kenya Barris made the directing and all of that stuff. I
I
guarantee
still
you,
think his name
Jonah
was
Hill,
just
maybe.
yeah. I think this was I believe this was Jonah Hill's original pitch.
Yeah, it's his vanity project. So he's making a lot of Jewish inside jokes that only Jewish people would understand, and then he's pandering to black people.
Right, because the Moyle gets the tip, and if you know what that means, that's what he's talking about. Not everybody knows what a Moyle is. If you know, you know.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
Ezra has Ezra next has a discussion with Mo, and this was probably where the comedy, like, thought the movie would be a little funnier, but it was funny. The discussion they had about Drake's albums and how he was feeling based on which Drake album. I'm not sure either one of you gave a shit enough to really try to keep up with what they were saying, but I was just sitting there crying, laughing, because it's like, are we gauging our emotion based on Drake albums? And then I paused the movie and I started thinking about, no, that makes sense. That's a soft ass album. Oh, that was night. Yep, that was a soft ass album too.
See, I used the Kanye album metric, so I didn't understand that one.
Basically, all the bad albums were 808.
Drake album. Sorry.
Understandable. It's a age thing or a millennial thing, I guess. Whatever you want to phrase that, I don't know. Either you know or you don't. But then the Pusha T diss and all of that, it was just funny. So they go through all of that, and then you see Amira, and she breaks up with the dude, or she's telling the dude she don't want to talk to him no more. Takes his phone and sees he's texting her dad. We see Ezra have a problem at work because he's super fucking awkward, and then
with everybody except for his podcast.
Everybody except for his podcast, and apparently the most attractive woman he's ever met.
Right.
He's ace with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
He's smooth with the podcast. Apparently, he's ace with the girls even outside of Amira, because all the stripper knew exactly who he was. Was just like, okay, so outside of him shitting his pants, he had to be suave, dude.
You see what I'm saying? At least he wasn't a scumbag. You know,
definitely wasn't a scumbag.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like,
why all of a sudden does he get confuscated and tongue-tied? Oh, it's because the movie wouldn't be funny, quote unquote, if he didn't.
It's the dick.
No, but he does it in front of Amira's dad. Like he can have a podcast with a black woman for however long he's been doing that. But the moment Eddie Murphy steps on the scene, he doesn't know how to speak to black people anymore.
That's true. It's funny.
What? Like, so which one are you? Are you the cool down hip with the culture, quote unquote guy? Or are you just a poser? I guess maybe, you know, that was the point of the movie, but I don't know.
Poser.
Well,
I mean, he's the same guy in every movie, though.
Oh yeah,
he's the same guy, just in different situations. And when it comes to like this black people thing, he just shuts down and becomes a complete, I don't know, doofus.
Yeah, he fumbles over himself like Mr. Bean. Like, right. You know, all of a sudden he's a Three Stooges, you know, shtick.
Right. Well, considering next we meet Akbar, who's Amira's father. Woody, that's that nigga name. But
that's what my mama. I'm gonna call you that.
But yeah, we meet Woody, And Akbar is a Muslim. I would not say he's Islamic, but he is a Muslim convert. I thought it was interesting for them to share that he had a dinner with Farrakhan, but not explain what he's done. Like, what was his journey? Where did he
Yeah.
start? How did he
Well,
get
the
here?
whole
How far
Farrakhan
did he even make it?
thing, the whole Farrakhan thing was just for a gag, and it was just to burn the kufi,
Right.
and for that to be
And that
hilarious.
at that
That
part,
wasn't
I was like,
funny. That's
dang.
supposed to be funny, though, guys. Like
I
that.
know.
His
I got that it was supposed to be funny. I didn't know why that was supposed to be funny.
everything Julie Louis Dreyfus does is mortifying, and like I can't even. Oh my
Worst.
gosh, it's such a caricature. Like, I know that some people do, tiptoe around the tulips, but the way that it was happening, again, with the slapstick sort of Marx Brothers setting somebody's hat on fire because you moved too quickly. Like, what is going on here? Is this real life?
Well, I mean, they had to go back to some of the olden style comedy because they wanted to be raunchy and push the envelope.
Mm,
So I think that's honestly a part of the styling behind this movie. Um, if you want to be inclusive, you have to take some of the new age things out. So when you want to have this social discussion, because this entire movie is a social discussion. That's really the whole purpose of us covering it. And was, oh well, let's see what the hell they said in this social discussion. We know what the discussion was. It's just how did they execute it, right?
mhm.
But yeah, that's really just where it's at.
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly poignant about anything that we haven't been talking about for years now.
Mm-mm.
And it feels to me like it's just riding off of the wave of the current political climate, and trying to score brownie points from it. That's all it feels like to me. It's like, oh, let's get a pat on the back. We can do this layup of a concept where we talk about how black people and white people are different, and
Right.
we'll get pats on the back for it.
Right. I mean, but I've been saying this a lot about a lot of movies. I feel like they introduce concepts so well, and then the executions are half baked. At minimum, in this, because I guess you can call the people who worked on it the veteran crews. We got a little more out of it as far as the resolution, but still don't think there was much conflict for a resolve. Oh, excuse me.
Is this Eddie Murphy's first movie back?
Back from what?
I mean, from his longer hiatus, did he do something live action? I know he's done like voiceover work and stuff like that, but he's been on a
That's a good
hiatus for
question.
quite
I don't
some
know.
time.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, I think like The Haunted Mansion was the last movie he did.
I think he's done something since Haunted Mansion for sure. Not sure what.
Right.
I'm not sure what. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe if anything, small cameos.
Yeah.
Um,
And voice acting. He's done a lot of that
yeah, a
too.
lot of voice acting. But speaking of Eddie Murphy, so yeah, Akbar, we're introduced to him, and he hits me as that every old and I think really quick, this is something that I see what they tried to do. They tried to give each side somebody that they can identify with, somebody that they can see, and it's like, oh yeah, we get tired of them motherfuckers doing that shit too. Like, yeah, we get that. And Akbar kind of exemplified that older black person, whether it's a male or a female, who it's like they know well, they've become, a well-to-do type of a person, but they're so stuck on this, nah, I gotta be true to the roots, that they gonna fake who they even are at this point, because you're not that fucking person anymore. You're not even around that shit anymore. You don't get your hair cut at that. That motherfucker didn't sit in the barber chair,
They're
did he?
very obviously a very well-off family.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's either that or you're living a fraudulent lifestyle, which then begs the question as to, so what do you do? Which again, we never got to. But
Mhm.
it's the whole every black person, just because they've come around at like, what was Akbar's actual life?
That's a good question. I don't know. Everything is reduced to a stereotype, which I don't like.
Right.
He's the stereotypical militant black man. I mean, like even Amira says it at
Which is
the,
why he was a Muslim.
right, and he's the angry black man because Ezra, has a confrontation with him, and then tells him Myra, and then Myra gets mad because she thinks Ezra is calling him an angry black man, and so everybody's just a stereotype. Ezra's a Jew, a stereotypical Jewish person. Julia Louise Dreyfus is a stereotypical Jewish mother. Like, then what are we saying? We're just saying that, because we want people to relate to it, we're going to reduce them down to their most typical stereotypes. Like, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you gotta give them the red, greens, and blues of life.
It's crazy because we don't know anything about Akbar. We don't know anything about what he had to go through, what he does
why
for a
he's so
living.
militant, why he changed his name.
Right.
He's not. It was all an act. We don't know why he became a Muslim. That part we really don't know. But the militant part was an act.
Right, because Mike Epps calls him on it.
Yeah, that was made clear at the end when he was like, "You shorted that kid. Like you didn't give him a chance." It's like, "Oh, he was soft." And it's like, "Nah, motherfucker, you shorted that kid."
There should have been more David Duchovny and maybe even some more Nia Long.
I think they should have definitely been involved more as far as setting their spouses correct.
Yes, because Nia Long was very reasonable and nice, and David Duchovny was an idiot, but you could tell that he at least had a decent heart,
right? That's what he understood. What he understood, what he didn't understand, he knew he didn't understand it, and he wasn't. He knew he liked Exhibit and John Legend. He wasn't gonna ask anything else about black culture except Exhibit and John Legend. That's it.
Right.
I like X to the Z. I thought that was the dopest shit. I was like, yo, that's my guy right there. Like, that's why I was like, yo, Duchovny's in this movie. Like, hell yeah, he gonna crack me the fuck up when he goes, what? I like X to the Z. Then we get to his speech and he's like, he left his mother and the kid.
Yeah, moved back to New Mexico.
I was like,
he knew everything about Exhibit, apparently.
You who you are, sir. Shit, even if it's.
I was hoping we were going to get to Pimp My Ride at some point,
Well, he did. Remember when he asked Amira, like, you remember Pimp My Ride, and she's like,
"Oh yeah."
Like that
Not
was
really. It was like 20 years ago.
Right, and you thought about like that. She was like 10.
Right. Yeah, because she's young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like 30.
Mm-hmm. Well, not Jonah Hill, but
not in real life.
Why does he look like he's 70 years old in this movie?
Even in real life, what? Lauren London is probably like 36 in real life.
She seems younger than Jonah Hill, I think.
I think Jonah Hill's like 41.
He's 35 in the movie.
Right.
He looks like he's
35 in the movie.
Yeah.
Somehow Eddie Murphy looks better. I don't know. Than he did in the past. I don't know what's going on with him. He might be a vampire, you guys. I was thinking he was giving me. He was giving me like Blade vibes with his sunglasses on and all black.
He been working out. Yeah. Actually, what's crazy is Lauren London is 38, Jonah Hill is 39. Damn.
Yeah.
We gonna say it was the beard and the makeup. They wanted.
It's the hair, man, and the weird beard that he's got.
They made him look old as hell.
It's the Jared Leto he has going on.
Yes, but like the dollar store Jared Leto.
So the regular.
So so just Jared Leto.
He's just Leto.
Mm-hmm.
He's Jared Leto. Yeah, I did like the courting scenes. Of course, the families had their opinions after they told them. I did like also the introduction of Taco's character Omar. I thought Omar again was going to be more a part of this movie. He wasn't as much as I thought. Really would have thought it would have been dope for the brother to be the segue of getting the dad and the son-in-law on the same level.
That would have made sense.
Wasn't Omar a cousin?
No, Omar was the brother.
That's her brother. The one that Eddie Murphy kept disrespecting.
She brought up. He was a whole character.
He was only like 3 scenes, but right. He was at the diner at first when Dad meets, or not the diner, at the restaurant.
That was Simply Wholesome.
Yeah, I know. Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
Playing with me. I'm sorry, that felt slightly disrespectful. Um,
Eh,
but yeah, Omar was there, and then Omar was. Remember when he gets on the plane and he's like, "Oh yeah, I brought Omar." Omar gets on. He's like, "Sup, nigga?" He's like,
Oh, the
"Hey,
skinny
Omar."
dude.
Yeah, the
yeah,
skinny.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
he's slightly in Vegas with them.
Right.
He's
Yes.
slightly in the movie in general.
Slightly in the movie. Yeah.
I appreciate watching him, seeing him pop up in the movie, just knowing like he's a musician, he's a member of the internet, the hip hop group or band.
He's been in
The
TV and
band.
stuff
I
too.
had no idea who he was.
I was gonna say, but he's made a name in TV and movies and stuff, and
Yeah.
he just pops up and stuff like you don't even know he's there, and then it's like, oh shit, like that's dope. So, shout out to Taco.
Mhm.
We were at the meeting with when they date. So I actually liked the scenes of them dating and watching that progression of them going on the very first date, the awkwardness of him having his nervous ticks, not really seeing how this was going to turn out. He comments on her slides and she's like, "Oh shit, here we go." And it's like, "No, no, no. I think that's actually perfect for a first date." And then that kind of just spiraling into them being who they are. From there to being in a relationship, matching outfits, yada yada yada, and then they have um I don't want to say they have sex because
Ugh,
Their toes rub against each other.
yeah, they had some toe rubbing time.
ugh.
And after they had toe rubbing time, they wake up the next morning and brush teeth, and she like, "We go together now." And I thought that shit was hilarious, like, because that was some ghetto shit, but in a good way.
Honestly,
He was like,
I
"You got
thought
you got boo."
honestly, I thought that was probably the funniest part of the movie.
Oh, I was like, "This is some nice, cute high school 2000s shit right here."
I think that line is the only line that actually made me go, ha ha ha.
You silly. But I think that was when I realized that their intimacy really wasn't about sex in this movie. Their intimacy was about those two characters finding a way to bond. Um, Not sure if that was successful. Just making this clear.
I can
I think
appreciate a movie that doesn't focus so much on sex, but tries to focus on the quality of the characters and the relations. I can
right.
appreciate that. This movie didn't pull that off.
I don't think they pulled it off, but I think they made that attempt. I think they made that attempt, and they got damn close considering. But yeah, um,
Because I would have hated to see her naked in this movie.
I would have hated to see him naked in this movie.
I'm not so much caring about him because he's a fat white dude and they always naked and everything now.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sad and fair. I mean, have you seen South Park recently?
that's
Yeah.
true.
I'm not sure about the hated part of the other thing, but we're not going to talk about that any further. I just had to say that part out loud. So again, we meet the families and we get the short and sweet. Shelly is clingy. Arnold is a goof nut. Shelly is talking about Lupita from Guatemala like she's family, and I love that Ezra calls her out like, yeah, because there's no money exchange. We don't pay her. She doesn't work for you, mom. Like she's not family. It's not like she's family. She works for you. It's that simple. Um,
I think
we
it's
meet.
kind of reductive though too.
I think he is being extremely unfair to his mom at certain points.
Yeah, because I know plenty of housekeepers who have become like, very
Yes,
close to the people that they work with,
Mhm.
I
like
think. No, go ahead.
no, I just think it's kind of disingenuous to be like, yeah, well, there is a money exchange. Yeah, well, okay, that's fair, but there's a money exchange in all of things. And, like you don't like if that person was in trouble, you would think that they might go out of their way to help that person or
Right.
try to, you know what I mean? Like,
People who are invited in your home and spend a lot of time in your home tend to bond.
yeah,
Right.
Because there's a certain level of trust that's automatically there when
Right.
somebody's spending that much time in your home.
Has
right.
to. I think what would have benefited.
Our internet connection is shite today.
Seems like it.
I think Keelan's got
what you
some.
guys are.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh, I had
Uh-oh.
some lag. Am I back?
Yeah, I think you're back now.
Oh, okay. What
Yeah.
I was saying was, I think what would have helped that whole scene or that whole situation was for him to acknowledge, like, yeah, set your mother straight in that respect, but at the same time acknowledge that what we're saying right now, there are people who have those connections with people, but mother, you haven't made that connection with your, the people who work for you.
Well, we don't know that.
We don't
Maybe
know that, but if he had made the statement, that
maybe
would have at
Lupita
least
had a
helped
sick
validate.
kid and they paid for their kid's doctor bill. Is that enough?
Perhaps. I don't know.
You
I
know
don't
what I
know.
mean? Like
I do. I
it's
do.
so presumptive about every single human interaction. It's so cynical about every human interaction. Like we can't just have a good loving, interaction with each other heart to heart. Everything has to be filtered through this cynicism of what's the power dynamic here? Who's being taken advantage of? And it's just like,
Right.
whoa, man. I don't know. You can
I
only
agree.
beat me over the head that, like so many times with that before I'm like, meh.
Before
Nah.
you're like, what?
I started calling the scenes out in this movie because
No,
I could
yeah,
tell.
it
I
was
knew
readable.
exactly what was going to happen in every scene.
It was readable. From the time you meet Ezra's family, you kind of figure, okay, so the next scene, you're gonna get a short intermission, then you're gonna meet her family, and then you're gonna get something in between that, and then you're gonna have everybody together, and oh,
And every
it's
scene with
Derek.
Julie
Oh,
Louis-Dreyfus is going to be a disaster where
right,
it's the most blatantly out there behavior I've ever witnessed.
right. Well, unfortunately, some of that
I
was.
know that happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
No,
I'm
no.
just
I
saying,
think the
good
fucked up
God.
part. Yeah, I think the messed up part is it happens on both sides though. Like everything that we saw Akbar do, I know a black dude that would do that shit to any man trying to date his daughter. It don't matter what color you are.
Hmm.
And I think that was important for him to call himself out on later. Like, yeah, I did a little extra just because he was white. Well, not him, but for EJ to call him out on that shit.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, you would have did that to anybody, which would you have gone that far? Like,
It's a
you
fair
got to validate.
question. And I don't necessarily think that there isn't something. I think there's something to be said about those statements in and of it itself. The way Akbar is, and then the way Shelley is, they're
Yeah.
kind of two sides of the same coin of
Mhm.
weird, interracial dynamics. But
Living in their own world. It's about experience.
I
He
just didn't
clearly doesn't
feel.
have a lot of white friends. Like,
Yeah, I just felt like there was the resolution was like, okay, everybody was like told 10 more minutes and the movie's over. And they're like, all right, we got to wrap this up real quick. We got
oh, I get what you're
let's make
saying.
friends now.
Yeah.
Let's
Because it
plan a
felt like
secret
everybody
wedding.
was kind of dragging it with the performance, like there was going to be a switch up, like a big climax to the
Yeah.
performances, and that didn't
Or
exactly
you would have seen Akbar be a little bit like unguarded around Ezra for a few seconds, and that might have been given like a window into what his motivations were. Or if he
happen.
was actually just straight up and said, "Hey, you know what? I love my daughter to death, and I would die for her, and I will be damned if I don't know exactly who's marrying her."
Oh, that's what he
That's a
said at the end, just not in those words.
well, not in those words, but he could have said those at the beginning or towards the beginning of the movie, and that would have given him some depth to the character instead of just being like, I don't like white people, and I'm gonna embarrass this white boy.
And I think that was one thing that to me it was weird that they never tread on whether or not he actually had any inference or issue with white people as a whole. He was just treating Ezra like shit and never exactly said what his issue was aside from the fact that he was trying to be with his daughter.
If he said he was a
Whereas
poser, I would have agreed with him 100%.
fair. Whereas with Kelly, it was very clear, like she didn't know anything and wanted to know too
Right.
much about black people, and it was like,
Yes.
can you want to know too much?
Apparently you can. Apparently you can be so accepting that you become racist all over again.
I do it
That's
now. I will
that's
say
not what the
there is a
movie's
right
saying.
and a wrong way to get an answer, but geez, and I would have appreciated as we still go through the beats, but I would have appreciated. His name is not Jonah. His name
Ezra.
was Ezra. Ezra and Amira to in turn give some level of a feedback reply to each person.
That
So
would have
she
been
give
good.
a actual response to Shelly that validates Shelly and affirms herself. He gives a similar statement back to Akbar that now brings everything full circle because I think this was also an attempt at a generational discussion in the
Or
societal discussion or the
even
social discussion.
better, have the children talk to their respective parents. Have Amira talk to
Oh
her father. No,
no! You
no.
gonna disrespect your parent and have a discussion with them?
Oh man, I know that's a terrible idea, right? Maybe if
You better.
Ezra wasn't so jokey all the time and sat his mom down and said, "Hey, you're really making my fiance feel uncomfortable with all of your
Well,
craziness.
no,
Could you
he did.
could you pipe down?"
He did. Remember when he said you're treating her like a black person and not a girlfriend, my girlfriend who is a person?
Did he say that at the end or the
He said that
beginning?
at the beginning.
Okay.
When they first met, that was what he said to her.
Well, that's fair enough. And she
Yeah.
still didn't do anything
She
about it.
never
But
said Akbar. She never said her father straight.
oh no, well, because he was right. He's not the only like this is the thing. The only person that's wrong is Shelley. That's
Damn.
what the movie tells us. Is the only person that's wrong is Shelley.
You know what? I was gonna yes. You just validated. Yeah, that's what the movie tells us. I think
Mhm.
there is a discussion to be had about Akbar's behavior and the way it was addressed. I do agree that it came full circle, but there is a discussion to be had about why we feel like as men, we have to inflict fear and or not. There's a different way to go about things,
Mhm.
and yeah, and also most people don't actually go through that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Again, we're going into these deep stereotypes that are almost verging on hyperbole when, like again, yeah, it's over the top sometimes where Akbar was so closed off and so like not. That's why it was so jarring at the very end when Jonah Hill gives his stupid speech on his podcast, and then all of a sudden Akbar has he looks out. Every character has a look away from look away from the camera, and they furrow their brow and they're thinking really hard about what Jonah Hill is saying because he's spitting some truth about
Hot
race
fire.
relations. Hot fire, Dylon, 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 and Dylon. But yeah, like it's so crazy that he takes such a 180 turn. And it would be understandable for a father to want his daughter to be happy, but they never have a conversation.
Mhm.
Like she's never like, "Dad, I know that you don't approve, but I love him and he makes me happy."
Right. Yeah, that
Would
would have been
would
nice.
you as a father not want to hear something like that from your
He
daughter?
didn't care. He didn't even
Right.
notice. I think that was the other thing is when he finally realized it's like, oh shit, I wasn't just doing this kid wrong. I did my daughter wrong. You still never have a scene or a moment where it's like, hey, baby girl, I understand daddy was wrong. Well, I guess no, because
He
he's
doesn't.
only apologizing to Ezra.
Right. And
Only
Amira
thing he
doesn't
said to
think
her
that
was,
he
I'm
was
sorry
wrong
for what I
because
said to get you down here because that's
and
daddy.
Amira doesn't think that he was wrong because she gets mad at Ezra for being upset about the way he treated Ezra.
Oh, Ezra's definitely gonna be what did Schulte's character call him?
I don't know.
He called him a liberal cuck.
Oh man. I don't know. I mean, I just think that it's like, dude, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it.
I mean, again.
The way that they were interacting with each other before they had their little split up and then came back together, it was like he just had to say, okay, honey, over and over again. And that was the way it was.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to be
They
okay
look like
with
best
that.
friends
But
to me.
yeah.
They could be great best friends. That's what that looks like to me. Like they were on the verge of becoming the two best friends that anyone could have.
They had good banter with each other. I just don't think that they had that like romantic chemistry.
That's because all the romantic chemistry happens off camera.
Yes.
So you never get to see, you don't really see them have any kind of real interactions except for, basic level, I'm about to go do this, I'm about to go do that. What you gonna do? Oh, okay, cool. That's it.
Mhm.
I don't want to complain about that though, because we've been asking for a lot less sex in our movies.
Oh, we don't need to have sex, but you can have romance.
Actual conversation and interaction.
I feel like there was a level of intimacy, but I said that already.
No, not really.
We got it in a montage.
Yeah, I said A level. A
Yeah.
level.
That's why I said all the actual substance within their relationship happens off camera.
Yeah.
You don't get to see it. You don't get to witness it. You just know it happens because we progressed their relationship to where now they're engaged. Now they're married.
Yeah, I think this movie is an attempt at trying to show the adversities that you go through when you get with someone. Like you don't have the discussion often with people that you're not just marrying a person, you're marrying their family. Again, another discussion that's really what this movie is. And that's why I realized earlier I said this was about a relationship. It's not about a relationship. It's about the families behind the relationship. But that's not really made clear.
Is that how it's built though?
Is that how the movie is built?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, build. How they describe it.
No.
Exactly.
That's what I was getting at. I'm like, but that's not what I think. If it's sold that way, we actually would receive it differently.
Right. Because it's supposed to be a rom-com.
Really?
Right. And it was neither romantic or comedic. So
I'm going back to Google right now. Is that what it's billed under?
It's billed as a rom-com.
Romantic buddy flick. Damn. A rated R romantic buddy flick? Come on, that don't even make sense.
Because they say nigga.
And they use F words and stuff. They be effing and jeffing.
Drop the N bomb. You can
they said N bombs and then they use the F word like 3 or 4 times or
but
too
that's
many
okay.
times.
That's okay. Mike Epps forgives Joe Rogan for saying it all the time.
Right.
I mean, like the fact that they made a Joe Rogan joke is in of itself hack. Like,
wait, let's be clear.
Why? Huh?
You know why? Because Joe Rogan is a part of a major machine now. So now he can be targeted. He's no longer part of the people.
That's right. He's Spotify now. Okay. I got you.
So now you got to take at least one shot. Who's the next biggest fish you're going to take a shot at? Joe Budden?
No, I don't know.
He got a network, but I'm just saying.
I mean, YouTube people, I don't know.
Pick a Joe.
No.
Which Joe you going to take a shot at? Rogan, Budden. Rogan, Budden. I'm shooting Rogan the knees out. Like if I'm the one who got to make the decision, I'm shooting Rogan's knees out.
Well, yeah, Rogan's probably fine. He's gonna be.
I'm sure he'll laugh at the shit and be like, "Huh, this fucking dude," and just move the fuck on. He won't even give a fuck who we are. But you do that shit with Budden, get ready for a week-long onslaught.
He's all up in his feelings. That's why.
I mean, he makes money off of it. What else would he have to do? I'm not even mad at him for it. It's like first I was like, why does he like? What is the fucking point? And it's like, oh, he gets paid from it.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Drama's big. Drama's big. But okay, what else happens in this movie? It's still going. It's still torturing.
They go to Skulls. You know what I'm saying? After we meet Fatima and Akbar,
right? Yes.
They go to Skulls and they never get no food because Ezra pissed off the server, and rightfully so. Once you have pissed off your server at a black restaurant, whether it's black owned or black run or just a black frequented spot, once you've pissed off your server, do yourself a favor. Settle for that fucking water and leave.
Did you say Skulls?
Yes.
But no,
and I'll explain why. It's not because your food's going to get done dirty or anything. Just you're going to become priority number 12. And at that point, you're not going to enjoy your service. You're going to have all kind of fucking complaints. You're just going to be holding up a table that somebody else can be enjoying their meal. Go somewhere else because you've already made your decision and you didn't have no patience. It is what it is. Huh?
You chose violence.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And it's weird because of course it's like, oh no, but I'm the customer. I get you. And when I go to certain places, I do the same shit. But when I go to other places, I know how the fuck to act. So if the food's worth it, you gonna wait. Either way, Ezra fumbles through asking Akbar for Amira's hand, but Akbar pretty much says, you could try. And I was like, that's not an answer. That's not a man's response, at least.
No, man, none of this is good. None of this is good. We gotta move along. We're already at an hour and we're not even halfway.
All right. So let's see. When Ezra goes to work, we see his boss. Oh, I do think it was funny when he made the jokes about getting the vaccine in the casino, and now his daughter's trying to marry a white dude. I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? But Ezra goes and quits his job, but right before that, you saw
Did they explain why he quit his job, or did I miss that?
Because he
Need
wants a
time to focus on
podcast full
podcasts.
time.
Yeah.
Because
didn't-
we
they
all
didn't
know
say
that
it
makes
explicitly, just
much
made
money.
sense.
So he. All right,
And then they got like a TV
studio.
studio. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they got a Complex contract. They were working with Complex.
They're like the Young Turks now. You know, they just, you know.
It kind of threw me off how he quit his job to do something he was not making money with, as far as I could tell. And he ended up in a big movie studio setup, and then they bought a house too. And I was
Oh, like a $3.5 million house.
But a
Right.
house before that and before getting married.
how's that being sustained if he quit his job? But then I thought, okay, he's Jewish, maybe he got a lot of money in the family.
And that's what solves all the problems, you guys, because Mike Epps lays it down for Akbar. He says, I would have gotten a new car from the dude. I would have been, I got a deck that needs being done, you know. And then Akbar's little head, a little light bulb flashes over his head, and he's like, "Oh yeah, he is
use
rich."
these white folks,
yeah,
because they just got money coming out the ass.
Right. They could buy a $3.5 million home on a dime, and he can quit his job in finance.
Listen, that was the one part when it was like, oh well, you know, since we bought this house and my family, and it's like, wait. I bought the house. He just proposed last night. What the fuck is going on?
Man.
They did that in a montage too. They did that with them just like scrolling through Zillow for a second, and then all of a sudden they have this house.
I saw them scrolling, but I didn't know they had purchased. That's supposed to just mean we getting serious enough to be like, ooh, we plan on moving at some point. Ooh.
If that's their first home, at 1%, that would be 30 grand. Your first home is around 3% down. So you dropped $100,000 as a down payment.
I'm sitting here like you're doing too many numbers. That's 100. Did you say 100?
100 or 3%, $100,000 as a down payment, and that's like a first homeowner's
3%.
Well, 10% if you don't use the first homeowner's loan, which they have in California, so you can get it for 3%.
But wouldn't his income be too high? So I guess that means the house would be in her name.
No, as long as both of you haven't had a home on the record, you apply.
Oh, I thought there was like a income limit or something, like 90,000.
I don't think so. Okay. Yeah.
Either way, he didn't have a job. Remember, he quit.
It couldn't have mattered anyways, because you can't get an approval for a loan for a $3.5 million home if you don't have income.
Right.
What's going on here?
So he still had the job. Now he still had the job when they got the house. That's why he was able to quit at that point, because they had the house.
Right.
And that means we fast forward at least 6 months somewhere in there for the insurance checks to drop.
Well, she wasn't getting no money because she didn't get the job.
Well, she probably had other contracts, because we know what she did.
No, what did she do?
Exactly.
She seemed to be a fashion
went to Howard
designer.
University.
Yeah,
it looked like she was
employment though.
No.
But her family's rich. Both of their parents are rich.
They both come from wealthy families. Not rich, wealthy. Note, the mom said, our extension of generational wealth, new generational wealth is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see the way Nia Long was dressed this whole movie? There wasn't no cheap.
She fancy.
Fancy.
Yeah, she fancy. Yeah.
Had that, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Perfectly coiffed.
All of that.
Yeah.
Good job. That was a great banter. Oh yeah, so Ezra's boss had on the screen, it was, they don't pay taxes in Wakanda. Why should you? And how much time would you serve for tax evasion on his computer screens? That shit was funny.
What is that supposed to be in reference to?
They work for an accounting firm, and he's trying to figure out how to dodge taxes.
They don't pay. Oh, okay. Got it. So they're
So
using that as an excuse that they don't pay taxes in Wakanda.
yeah, that was the inference
Uh,
of
uh,
right. Yeah, we get what that meant. We get what that was talking about.
I need to go
Um,
gargle a revolver real quick. I'll be back.
hey, you knock it off. So yeah, Akbar, Shelly tries way too hard when they have family dinner. Akbar is ultra arrogant for no damn reason. I think Shelly's joke about the train was a joke and funny.
Yeah, I don't think it was out of poor taste. I just think that
I,
he was being
he was an
purposely
arrogant asshole, pompous.
combative about it. Yeah.
Yeah, for no reason at all. Um,
He just
and
kept wanting to trap the white people in in like a guilt trap.
right, and it was weird because also last time I checked, I'm aware that in at least the community that I was raised in, when you in somebody else's house, you do your best not to be a complete asshole for no reason.
That's true. That's true.
When they give you reason, you show
like
your ass and you leave. But until
Yeah.
then, you don't just voluntarily be an asshole.
when they
Yeah.
burnt that man Kofi.
Now let's talk about the burning of the kufi. All right. Now after he tells his Farrakhan story and dinner begins and he leads his Muslim prayer, everything turns into some, just who had it harder basically. But that was Ezra's fault. And I wish Ezra had taken responsibility. Mom was past Akbar already. She was going to put the candles in a different place, trying to still be a good host. Ezra, with his irritable ass, wants to get up and tussle with his mother with the damn candles like he's the only one that knows how to extinguish candles.
Mm-hmm.
That was his fault.
Yeah, of course it was.
Why was his Kofi so flammable though?
That's a whole different question that I don't know how to answer. I don't know. Maybe it was like cured in teak oil or something. You said what?
It's not like it's made out of the same material like thin drapes, where they
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
pretty
No,
quick.
it's made out of really thick material, good thick material too. Those crowns.
Right. A singe mark maybe, but
Yeah.
the golden
I
flames,
could see it extinguishing that candle. In fact, in real life,
right?
like
But the golden flames like that was crazy.
Mhm. It was almost like the cooking sherry was sitting on top of the kufi waiting for the fire to hit it.
Man, that needed some vodka.
Yeah. Well, nah. Yeah. So anyway, everything turned into a racial debate. Oh, I thought it was funny when two things happened. How everything really started going when everything started going downhill. You have Fatima. She asked, "Oh yeah, so you guys had because the mom's like, oh, it's not like we haven't had to work for it. It's like, oh, well, what did your husband do?" And he's like, "I'm a podiatrist." "What did your dad do?" "He's a podiatrist." "And his father?" "He was a Oh, okay, yeah, right. Um, Sometimes nepotism has to be called out. Just call it what it is.
Yeah, but it's not like you can nepotism your way into doctor school. I mean, you can, I guess, but you still have to take the exams and become a doctor.
But wait, that's why I continuously bring up we don't know what Akbar did. So what if Akbar runs a family firm or a firm that his father also ran the same type of a firm? What if he's just an accountant or a CPA and his father did the same thing?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. This is how generational wealth was created and has been created for ever millennia. It's that the parents pass down what they can to their kids and the kids try to accumulate more so they can pass it down to their kids. I mean, like, this is just a natural process. Now, I understand the critique that, certain races might be on the back foot when it comes to that, but I don't know. I think, again, it's another discharitable sort of reductionist assumption about people. And,
To be fair, I didn't even know they were Muslims.
There was no way of knowing if they didn't tell you.
It was the Kufi was the only reason that they were Muslims.
That don't even mean Muslim to me. That just means somebody who dig the African side.
No, but it all ties back to the Farrakhan joke. So I
Right.
really think that the Farrakhan joke is the linchpin for the fact that they're Muslim, because they don't mention Islam at all after
No.
that.
That's why I mentioned earlier that they're not as. I wouldn't say he was Islamic. He was Muslim, and he was a convert.
I don't even know what that means, to be fair. Because that
Islam-
means the Alarm need to be wearing head wraps and stuff.
not
Mhm.
necessarily.
Why not?
Depends if she's Sunni or Shia. So I don't know which sect they are. But if they're Sunni, yes, you would have to wear hair covering. And Shia you have to wear the scarf.
Well, Muslim women have to wear it either way. Well,
Mhm.
if they
It's just-
nation, like if they nation Muslims, they still got to wear it too. 'Cause
Technically, yeah.
it's a thing for God. It has nothing to do with man or the religion. Because technically, we're supposed to be wearing stuff on our heads as Christians.
Right. There are a few different.
Who can walk through the doorways with
head
those
wraps.
pointy hats on, you know?
There are a couple of explanations behind the head wraps. I'm not a Muslim, and I'm not a woman. More so, I'm not a woman, so I'm not gonna, because I don't know. It's not my practice.
Either way, head coverings are traditional. So
Right, that part I know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, as far as in this movie though, yeah, there was no other way of knowing. Oh, I guess when he walked into the barbershop and he just stood there and nobody turned around because nobody knew your ass except for the one dude that you called and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be in there with white cuz and have your homeboys bark at him real quick." Okay, go.
And why would he make a reference to the barbershop being prison? And
That was so weird. But
That's super
again,
weird.
it let you know he was out of place.
out of
To me,
pocket.
that was the tip. He was definitely out of pocket, but to me, that was one of the tip offs. Like, he not a part of this circle neither. He's playing the scared straight tactics.
Right. Because who when he said the barbershop has a commissary,
I thought that shit was funny.
I was like, right.
Because it's like, what did you expect his mind to go to? You started making it sound like prison. Now he confused.
The only thing I can think of is that he was trying to get Ezra's ass kicked.
I thought that's what I actually thought that was what was going to happen.
I mean, like he put him in two situations where he could have gotten his ass whooped.
Okay, and I'm with you saying that. I just want to be very clear. That basketball situation was way more dangerous than that barbershop situation.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, that barbershop situation, that most people would see that as a misunderstanding, you out of place, you out of line. Either go back to your side of town or figure it out. That basketball situation, we gonna lose the game, and you gonna come out here and hurt somebody? Nah, somebody about to get beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that barbershop situation was just another shout out to
Good thing he could play.
to the fallen
Oh,
one.
he's so good. How is he so good?
Wait. Sorry, Mike. Science. Repeat that, Mike, though.
I said that whole barbershop situation was just a shout out to the fallen one. You know what I'm saying? He we won't name who is involved in this.
It was also in my opinion, it was also a play to the neighborhood in which the movie was shot.
Correct.
So,
which is a bunch of bull spittery.
But the basketball game, he was very good at. And
he was very
I 100% believe that Jonah Hill could definitely dominate a couple pickup games. It's kind of like when I see Adam Sandler. I was just about to say that. It was like there is something weird about a certain sect of men who think that they're good at basketball and will do anything to make sure that people think that they're good at basketball. And I don't know what that's about. But I don't think Jonah Hill is a baller. I'm just going to say that.
I will say this. In their defense, on the right court at the right time with the right group of guys, some of those dudes with a certain shape and a certain look, they be looking like straight ballers.
Okay.
With certain people on the floor. Then you put other people on the floor and it's like, oh, okay. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then some of them be keeping up. Like, hold on now. Like, what was you, D1? You just had a baby? You feel all that weight. Boy, how you do that?
And then he got a gentleman's sneakers after the game too. He was so good that somebody gave him
Hey, listen,
their
that's the
sneakers.
thing. That means he won a bet.
So
That's the only way that's happening is he won a
But
bet.
there
Now,
was
my
no
question,
bet called.
there was
So
no
we
bet
just have to
call.
assume that he's so good that a
And
man volunteered his sneakers to him.
here's why I'm upset that there was no bet call. Here's why I'm upset there was no bet call. What shoes was he wearing? Because he was supposed to be a
Probably.
sneakerhead.
Some shitty K-Swiss or something like
Nah,
that.
see what I'm saying? Like, nah, we got to know what the stakes were.
Yeah.
What were the stakes? Were you about to lose some fives or something? Were they some phone posits?
No, he was wearing
Were
dunks.
you just wearing different types of dunks the whole movie? Because that's what you was doing. If we were gonna lose some SBs in a basketball game, pretty sure you just got. I think those were like Kyrie's. I didn't even look at what shoes it were, but they're probably like Kyrie's or KD's or something. Who knows? So yeah, nah. Matter of fact, wait, this is LA. Probably would have been some Kobe's.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or the TMC's. You know what? See, now I'm thinking too hard.
Who knows?
But my point is,
All I
what
know
were
is
the
that they
stakes?
look like spaceships. So there you go.
Oh, where did the spaceships? Damn, now I want to go back.
I don't know. They were definitely futuristic looking shoes for sure.
Like, oh man. All right, stop, Q. Stop. Because now I'm curious.
Dang shame.
So yeah, he has this day with Akbar. Akbar is a general asshole, and Amira has a day with Shelly, and Shelly also is just trying to overcompensate. I didn't. I understood what Shelly was trying to do, or what they were trying to do with that scene where she saw the lady just get nodded in, but damn, at least give it a moment to see if it was fucked up or not.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Especially since Myra was not even worried about it.
Right.
If she had seen her get uncomfortable about it, and then Shelly had to go say something,
Wait,
because
did you say Amira?
Amira, yeah.
Amira.
Sorry, Amira. It's a Irani name, so
Yeah.
Amira. Yeah, she wasn't showing any concern over it at all.
I really don't think she saw the lady.
I don't think she noticed at whatsoever. Yeah, which made everything more painful because it's like, good Lord. Ugh. Anyways.
And that's why I have to say I legitimately appreciate it when she goes up to the receptionist and she gets off the phone and she's like, "What are we talking about?" It was like, I've never seen anybody so convincingly confused.
Mm-hmm. Yikes.
But yeah, so they're both just again overcompensating and mowing easy on the show that we flash to them having another discussion about white and black relations. This is really when Easy's being told by Mo that black and white folk just can't get along. I do want to rewind to a few comments that were made when he called her Mrs. Shakur and they were talking about Jewish bacon versus Muslim bacon. That shit was funny because some jokes just need to be said. And even when you're in the heat of the moment, like, nah, if we gonna play like this when it's not time to play, I mean, when it's joke time, you got to be able to stand some of this fire when it's time to get down. Relationship tips in this, but some people ain't gonna care. I'm tired of the niggas in Paris joke. The Kanye and Jay-Z song.
Right.
That joke's been overdone.
75% of us would be in Paris.
There's something in Paris. No, not midnight.
No.
Someone.
Buddy's in Paris.
And I thought it was funny in the moment, but in hindsight, I was like, all right, how many times have I heard this joke? And how many different people have spun it? And it sounds like the same joke every time.
And most white people are savvy enough to know a trap when we see one. Sorry, you're not going to get me to say it. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you're trying to give me a fake pass. I'm not going to say it. Sorry, bro.
Fake pass. No passes.
That's what I mean. There is no passes.
Pass the fist.
Yeah.
Oh God. So let's see. After that, we get to. Did we get to the bachelor? Did we skip the bachelor party?
We're plodding along.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So we
Oh
have
yeah,
Does it
no,
matter?
yeah, no.
what does it matter?
Oh yeah, so they're having a discussion about white and black relations, and I thought this was actually a very valid point or a great way to break this down. The black versus white relation when it comes to having these discussions, and Mo explained how white people are the cheater and blacks are the hurt girlfriend that just wants answers and no answer's ever going to be good enough. Like it or not, that's a pretty good breakdown.
It's but my
Society wise,
God,
I don't
but
think
hold on. We need to play those implications out. So the implications of that statement are, like she said, there is never going to be a good dynamic between white people and black people. So
Mhm.
what's the options? We just dissolve as a society? No, we don't have that option. So what are we doing? Perpetuating our trauma into hating each other further forever because somebody thinks that we should? Sure. Okay. I mean,
Fair.
it's so cynical. It's so cynical
Yeah.
that it makes me sad. It
I was
makes me
about I
sad.
was That's the word I was gonna use. Like it's supposed to make you sad. It's supposed to
Yeah.
make you like, oh my God, why can't we just figure this out and get along? And it's like because people don't fucking want to. That honestly, for me, a lot of times that's what gets under my skin is the societal, like the only reason a lot of these things are true on a societal level is because society acts like we don't see the shit until it's in a movie. We're sitting here openly talking about it, and then somebody's not gonna like one or two of the things we say. Clip that shit and try to make it like that's the basis of the entire discussion. And then, oh, you can't have that discussion. No, fuck that. Have the discussion 10 more times.
Yeah,
Because
we've been talking about it. Anybody who
right,
actually gives a shit has been talking about it, you know? Like I don't
and it's
need
just
Jonah Hill to tell me
right,
anything.
right. And it's like just because a few people want to act like the conversation's not being had, like it's being had. So what part of the discussion do you want to have or do you not want to have? I think that's really where it's
Mm,
left. How
yeah.
you have the discussion again, like I think that's why we watch this to see what is the direction. Like this could have been a lot. This was already cringy, but it could have been worse. It could have been better. It could have been a lot fucking better, but it could have been worse. Like this could have really been a waste of money. I won't say they wasted their money, but I will say I, for once, can actually tell you who this movie is made for.
I think that they kind of did a cop out. And I think that had they stuck with their original premise and ended up with the characters not getting together,
Hmm.
then that might have had something to say. But this idea that you're going to tack on a saccharine ending because why? You already made a very strong statement about the cynicism you feel about this whole dynamic. Why are you changing the whole message of the thing at the end for
Because you
no
gotta have a
reason?
happy ending.
Right. I guess, except for that doesn't feel like it's an ending that any of us deserve at this point for watching such a thing.
It's not the ending I thought we were gonna get.
Yeah.
For
I
sure,
had
it's not
no
the ending I thought we were
expectations
gonna
of
get.
the ending, to be fair. I just had none.
You just have no, I mean, then you can never be disappointed, right?
Well, yeah, you still can.
Amazingly, you still end up disappointed somehow.
Every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, man.
it's because the lead up can be still a whole disappointment, and then the ending it's just like I have no expectations, and it's like, what did I really get? Nothing. A whole load of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. We meet the wedding planners, and oh, they continuously have their joke about the movie Juice. So the wedding planner scene was funny in a short setting, but I'm glad it wasn't longer. Uh, the Howard University versus Harvard University thing, where Amira goes for that job and that happens. I thought that was important and pivotal. Just because there is a real life discussion going on right now about which is more beneficial, even a low level ranking, uh, uh, what they call a PWI, a predominantly white institution, or one of the highest ranking HBCUs.
HBC. Yeah.
That's a real discussion being had. And I am 34. I think I've been going to college expos since I was about 8. Well, of course, I don't go to them anymore, but I was started going to them really young, and that's a discussion that's always been had. So for it to still be happening, it's like, damn, how long has this discussion being had? And with it being a discussion, it makes me stop and go, damn, does it matter? But apparently it does. And I went to a state school, so
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, like, I have no problem with the concept of that, especially from when it came out of a necessity of having to educate people who were not allowed into other colleges. Um, but yeah, I don't know. A lot of it screams to me, man, that like there's just this desire to resegregate.
yes, actually.
It feels like there's a real underswell of desire that's not
It's
being said specifically.
it is being said.
Is it?
Yes,
Where?
Different
online.
Oh,
A lot of the discussions have come back to where Black people need to have their own specified separate space on college campuses. It's been referenced in I think, what was that, the name of that movie that came out a few years ago? Dear Black People.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it became a TV show.
right.
It became a TV show, which was terrible, but whatever. It's been referenced in news articles. It's been referenced in public discussions in forums online. I've seen it. I've heard it, and I said, when did Black people start? When did Black people start agreeing with the KKK that we needed to be separate but equal?
I have a real answer for that. I'm just not sure if that's going to take us left or not. I'm going to say somewhere in the 60s, and we can have a different discussion about that a different day.
Mm.
Sure, why not? Because it's been a whole discussion that's been brought to the forefront more so in the last like 3 years since Ferguson and all that other bullshit that, well, never mind.
Yeah.
Before we start getting flagged.
I just want to say I'm over
that-
here doing my homework on my kick game homework, and either he was given some Terrascapes or some Air Max 98s, I believe.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Okay. You're looking it up. No, I think there's a difference between sort of voluntary branching off and then state mandated segregation. I think there's a big difference between those two things, but I am surprised by the attitude that it might be beneficial. I can see where it might be superficially, but I don't know what the implications for society would be in the long run.
As far as Black folks, we thrived when we were separate.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
like
a fair critique.
All the different Black Wall Streets that happened around the country,
Right.
because of communities that were separate from the other communities, and they thrived and they did better. That's why they were targeted and bombed and destroyed. But again, that's another conversation.
No, I know that gets deep into the academic discussion for sure.
Right.
But I am definitely familiar with those arguments, and I don't disagree with them, but I also kind of worry about what that sort of means for society as a holistic thing. I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. I mean, we could just balkanize into ethno states as America. But I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people in the middle not knowing which way to go.
I was about to say it's going to be a lot of lost people.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's why the discussion has to be had, so that people understand what's what and what it's not.
Right.
What it is and what it isn't. From there, we
All of that.
pretty much get to the bachelor party. So we go through all of that. It gets us to that intellectual discussion, and then we get to some debauchery. No, we don't, because
Do we?
Akbar brings Omar, and they crash Ezra's bachelor party. So he is having no fun. His friends are doing mountains of cocaine and jiggling their face between strippers' booties. Strippers are seeing him and remembering when he pooed himself at the strip club the last time he was there. But his father-in-law is there now, and even though he's literally thrown um,
A,
a
a
gallon bag,
Ziploc
a
bag.
gallon Ziploc, damn near a quart Ziploc of freaking cocaine by Felipe Esparza. I think that's his name. His father-in-law sitting there. He has to act like he doesn't even see the cocaine sitting on his stomach. It's like, why the fuck are you here, dude?
For real.
Why? What are you doing? Same time, Shelly goes along on Amira's bachelorette party, and I think she was much more welcome on that trip. The problem is she is out of place everywhere she is because she's Shelly, and I get the notion that that's Shelly around black and white people.
Of course it is, but it's amplified when it's not the same, race,
Right, yeah.
because then it can be
Well-
interpreted differently.
Well,
Yeah.
they brought this square Jewish lady around all these Tatianas. What did you expect was gonna
Don't you
happen?
talk about Lala and Young Miami like that?
I said what I said. Tatianas.
I'm gonna say, you know what I'm saying? She said, "Rest in peace, Big Rev. He was her heart."
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right. Then why is it on the wrong titty?
I was like, "Oh, she better not fucking ass." I swear, the moment she said it, when she's like, "He was my heart," I did just like I was doing notes. I was like, "Lala and Young Miami."
She did say
And
it.
she
You didn't
goes,
hear?
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. When she says, she goes, "He was my heart." I looked up and I was like, "Oh no." And I was like, "Don't she fucking, you bet not." She goes, "Why? But why if she was your heart? Why is it on the other side?" And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
like, tell the lady she's stupid.
Yeah.
Tell her she's
dude.
stupid and she got something permanently done. She can't
Just
change.
can't. They just
She
can't.
wasn't stupid for that.
But that's the insinuation, is by her asking the question, she's saying she's stupid. Don't, hey, don't puff at me, Hufflepuff. But yeah, Young Miami and Lala are the two notable characters that were a part of the bachelorette party. They played Amira's cousins, and Shelly's it, and Amir doesn't get the job. Ezra offers help. That starts an argument. They end up going to the rehearsal dinner. He meets Uncle EJ. Uncle EJ, you can see immediately, he like Ezra. He
Mhm.
liked the White. He fucks with him. Not realizing, or we're not realizing at the time, at least I wasn't realizing at the time, like, oh, he's a fan of the podcast. Like, that's even crazier. But then you start realizing, even with the small joke of the White thing, that Ezra's getting tired of the bullshit. Like, he can't take so many of the jokes anymore. Amira's getting tired of being questioned about everything. Like, she's an encyclopedia for black terms and black situations. They both go off on each other's respective parents, and then they decide to split up that night because her father also told him he ain't the right guy for his baby girl, which
The end.
we don't disagree with.
And the credits roll, and everybody says, "Well, we did something here."
Right. In
All
terms
right.
of the movie, I disagree. In terms of reality for what we saw, yeah, very clearly so.
Yeah.
Unless
The
one of y'all
movie-
want to change lifestyles real fast.
Pretty much, yeah. One of you has to make big concessions. That's for sure.
They both leaving California and getting a whole nother situation somewhere else.
Start a new life. Maybe you could do
A
that.
new life.
Yeah.
Man, let's
Now I skipped 3 lines because
This
I
is
did agree
beating the
with that.
spirit out of Big Mike.
I get
he's
it.
slowly
So-
deflated.
We're at the end. I skipped 3 lines after that because I agreed, Nick, that was pretty much where it was like, all right, screw you. And then because they decided to break up, had they decided to work it out that night, then okay, fine, that's what we're doing. But because they decided to just, no, we're gonna let it go. Like, oh, don't y'all get married in like 2 days? Then
Right?
this is over. What are
Right.
we doing?
Mhm.
Right? But ultimately, the parents realize that they've both fucked up, and it's their fault because they've caused all of this because their kids were listening to them, and then they're both listening to the Mo and Easy show, and they decide we were wrong because Ezra knows everything. Actually, Mo knows everything, but that's a different part of the show as well, I guess. They plan a surprise wedding for their kids, and then they coax them into getting down to the place, which looks like Amoeba Music at first.
I think it was a shoe shop.
Maybe.
It was supposed to be in a shoe store.
because it has a giant shoe.
Oh, you're right.
bouquet
You're
at
right.
the-
It was
yeah.
supposed to be a shoe store. Yeah. The inside did not look like a shoe store.
Because that's
But
what
yeah.
the culture is.
That's the culture.
Shoes made by tiny Chinese hands. That's what the culture is.
Wow.
Actually.
But yeah, they get a surprise wedding. Everybody is there, and shakedown. That's it.
That's it.
It ends too abruptly. I thought it had some other places to go, some other things to tie up. One other funny line was when Mo first
There were no funny lines. You're lying.
Kayachu, Akbar to me, well, whatever. I laughed a few times. When Akbar doesn't realize or acts like he doesn't realize Mo's a chick, and he's like, my name is Mo. I'm a chick. I got tits. Like
That was amusing. I'll
That
give
was
you
funny.
that.
Then
I
he
wouldn't
gets
call
back
it
there-
funny. More like,
Okay, amusing.
look at that.
Exhale through the nose.
Gets back there to Akbar and is like, hey, did you know that Mo had titties? It's like, yeah, they're right there on her chest. It's like, bruh. I'm like,
But they could,
You're
they, just like most dudes, they couldn't get past the bald head.
I don't understand how have they never mind.
Because most dudes, because a bald headed chick look like a fat dude. That's why. Let's not pretend like we don't know what we be looking at.
The ugly ones.
Okay.
But an ugly never mind. Wow, ooh, wow.
I said what I said.
We still covering this movie right now. Oh yeah,
Are
I
we?
guess we are, because yeah, Sam J is bald or has no hair.
Looks like a fat dude.
I mean, that's the goal, I thought, right? Isn't that what she going
I
for?
hope not.
I thought that's what she was going for. No?
I don't know, man.
We have thoroughly beaten the enthusiasm out of my.
I'm just like, because I'm sitting here like, is he like, no, that's what she going for. I think that's the look. Like, didn't you see like the cool glasses?
Then
the
don't
little chain?
reference you having titties like you still a woman if your whole identity is to look like a dude.
Hey, titties are still there.
I wouldn't care.
She not saying be interested. You know what? Why am I defending this? What am I doing right now?
I don't know.
That's why I'm like, what are we even talking about? 'Cause I'm like, I realized what was happening.
He's
and I'm
baiting
like,
you, Keelan.
That's not what. Like, what are we talking about? Fuck. Anyway,
Mhm.
when we're on the plane and Kenya Barris comes up and is like his stoic demeanor, he seemed like the kind of guy that could kill you and get 9.5 hours of solid sleep. And he goes, I've done that before. I've done that before. It is like, yo, what the fuck? Hey, boom. Can I get a seat change? I'm not sitting to the dude that just said he killed somebody and slept for 9 hours after that. No. You know
Very
what?
funny.
I just didn't find the movie very funny, bro.
You gonna go laugh at some Bo Burnham, I know it.
It had some, like I said, it had some. I don't even know who that is. It has some amusing
Just
moments.
flamed you. Oh,
Oh.
shit.
All right, I'm flamed.
He said, "Oh, all right, I'm flamed." Sorry,
Whoosh.
Mike. Sorry, Mike. Flambe.
Right.
You were saying?
I fell asleep in the first 20 minutes of the movie. I told you that, right?
Showed us, yeah.
And I had to rewatch it.
I thought that was funny as hell. Because then I watched the movie and I was like, "Oh, he's an asshole." Because I could tell exactly around where you probably fell asleep. I was like, "Yep,
Yeah.
about where you fell asleep."
About 25 minutes in, I was knocked out. I was like, man, I couldn't
And
even
I
keep my eyes open.
understood
It was
'cause
so
I was
funny.
like, it didn't get to the point yet. It hadn't even started yet. But it was like, it wasn't that slow, was it? But in context, it could have been.
No, it wasn't even that it was slow. I just didn't find any of it funny.
Oh, fair.
Not really.
Entertaining. Amusing. It was amusing. I wouldn't say.
Right.
I
That's what I'm
laughed.
saying. I can't say that I audibly laughed maybe more than once, and I forget what made me laugh. And it was just like, this is so bad, I can't help but laugh.
I would have liked to see some Bowfinger style comedy in this. A little more slapstick.
Any comedy would have been good.
Man,
This movie makes me a sad panda, guys.
thank you.
Well, we have completed it, so let's get through the
I thought we
terrorism.
completed it 3 times by now.
We have. I mean, shit. We could probably edit this video down to about 20 minutes for him. So yeah. Final thoughts. Any wrap ups?
It's
I already
it's
said what I was-
over.
It wasn't that bad. It was
Still-
not the greatest, but it wasn't that bad.
Still better than Wendell in the Wild,
Damn.
Man,
but not by much.
hey Nick, imagine if he was around for like, I don't know.
Oh, I know.
Paper
The
Tigers?
Winchester House.
Fuck
Hey,
Paper Tigers.
hey,
There are worse
hey,
movies than Paper
I
Tigers.
like Winchester.
That
Winchester
movie
House?
sucked.
I like that movie.
That movie was
Really?
awful. It was
Yeah,
so
I like
bad.
that movie.
The
That was-
Ghost movie?
Yeah,
That was
The
a
one
goose
about
egg.
the Winchester wife?
Yes.
Never mind, bro. All right.
I didn't say it was good. I said I liked it.
Fair enough.
There's
Okay.
not the same thing.
Rating something and giving your opinion are not the same thing. That is correct. That is correct. I apologize
can
for
get-
the reaction. That wasn't fair.
I'll give you this much. For this movie, I'll give it a solid 4.
That is out the gate. There you go. That's actually, in my opinion, that's a good rating for this movie.
Damn. I thought you would have gave it something like a 6 or a 7.
There's a scale to this,
'Cause you-
bro.
Because you keep talking about it and you won't let it die.
Listen, I can be honest about some entertainment value in something and still be honest about it was shit.
Right.
I mean, listen,
I'll be-
a lot of movies we watched in the 90s when we was young, they're shit movies,
Awful.
but they were entertaining as hell.
Absolutely awful.
Definitely.
Grew up on shit movies.
I love Beastmaster. It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
Damn.
One for Eddie Murphy and one for Mike Epps,
Damn.
because they were the only 2 characters that brought me joy when they had a conversation with each other. It was only
Damn.
45 seconds, but it was a very joyous moment. So
And I thought I was lowballing it.
hey, it had that was the most heart I saw from the entire movie, was their conversation while they were driving, talking to each other.
Well, one thing you were right about, Mike, I did like this movie more than both of you. This is true. But it's only getting a 4.55 from me at the max. 5 would be a stretch. I can't explain 5, so I'm gonna have to go 4.5.
I feel that. I feel it.
Bowfinger was a much better movie.
Yes, it was. Definitely was.
Actually, Dolomite was a much better movie.
Wait, which one?
The Eddie Murphy one. Come on, bro.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't compare the original Dolomite to this. What's wrong with you?
Well, I had to make sure.
No, you didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I felt like I did.
He said I had to. No. I sense a little disrespect there. So payback.
My bad.
So yeah, what does that leave us at? That puts us at should a 3?
4 and a 4 is an 8 plus 3 plus 2 is 10. And you had a 0.5?
4.5. Yeah, I think it's 3.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like 3.4, 3.5.
Trying to keep my math skills sharp on air in front of people so they can see how, you know what I'm saying, the boy.
Yeah,
brain-
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that would make me yawn, man. I'm getting
Sorry.
sleepy. That's okay.
It's because my when I knew that I was about to call myself the boy, I was like, oh, yeah, must be getting tired saying these kid phrases.
Yep.
All right. With that being said, that is our review for the movie You People 2023. It is currently on Netflix. Go ahead, check that out. Come back on over here. Put in the comments how you felt about it. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Would you give this movie higher than a 3.4? Because that is what we give it as a general consensus. If you call this screen time continuum one entity, we give this movie 3.4. Thank you. And please check out some of our other shows that we have going on. On Tuesdays, you can hop on over and check out If Numbers Could Talk at 8:30 p.m. Wednesdays, you're right here. So stay right here. On Thursdays, you're going to head on over to Twitch and check out Dejan on Strawberries and Coffee. And then you're going to check out Mike on King_of_Ilion. They both have games. Dejan's usually going to be giving you something out of the archive. I want to say right now you said he's playing Hogwarts Legacy, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mike, have you finished Dying Light 2 yet?
I certainly have. I'm currently playing High on Life again, and I put on some clips on that, so some pretty funny stuff there.
High on Life
stuff.
again, and he has some clips for you to check out in the meantime until you catch him live again. On Fridays, head on over and check out the Exo Fathom at 8:30 p.m. On Saturdays, you can check out this Married Moment between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. And on Sundays, you'll be right back here with us at the Screen Time Continuum. All of the shows will be available on Facebook and YouTube. You can also check out some of our shows on various platforms such as Spotify, Verbal, Rumble. I think If Numbers Could Talk is still available on the Apple Pods, but that would have to be updated and checked because there's always something changing when the beginning of the years roll around, and you never know how that goes. Thank you guys. Go ahead, check out all of those. And while you're at it, check out the Thinkering Talks page because that is the main hub over on Facebook. That's where you'll actually get all of the show, a lot of the shows right in one place, and you'll be able to then branch out. We appreciate you guys for hanging out. We appreciate you for continuously supporting us. We see those subscriber numbers going up. Keep on joining. Keep telling your friends. We really appreciate that. For the Screen Time Continuum, my name is Keelan.
I'm Nick. And Mike's on me.
And I'm Mike. Sorry.
All good, all good, all good. Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Be sure to tune in with us. And hey, Sunday, The Last of Us.
What do you mean, you people?